We're in this market where a lot of these stocks aren't really waiting for the bell to ring, which is obviously a little frustrating for those of us that would prefer to have a really clean setup. It's sometimes just not, they're just not waiting. So first 1 minute candle to make a new high now would be a break back over 95 or so. So as it consolidates right here, I'm wondering, is it going to make a new low on the 1 minute? And where are we going to find support? So the low of the last pullback was 62. So I have a starter at 62 on this right now. I'm going to buy that dip. And then the first 1 minute candle to make a new high is over 88. So my order's at $12 to add. High of this current 1 minute candle is 88. So 88 is the add spot for the break over 12. So watch up here, first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Over 85 is where I'll add to get that breakthrough 88. Watching, adding right there at 85 for the breakthrough 88. And now I want to see this squeeze up over $12. So I'm watching this again to add over 95, 96 to try to get that surge through 12 bucks. So we've got 77 on the ask right now, 76, 78, there's 81, 23 million shares of volume, 83. Watching to add over 85, 88. Stopped out for now, break even, $155 loss on that. So, it's worth a stab, and if I have to take a small loss on it, I'll just take a small loss and then look to get back in. So first 1 minute candle to make a new high was the setup, and it broke, but only by 2 cents. Now it's pulling back a little bit more. And so when that happens, then I have to switch my focus to a 5 minute setup. But that first trade of the day, I've got to keep it really tight. I don't mind taking a $155 loss on a good quality setup, but I don't want to take a $1,500 loss or a $2,000 loss, because then I'm really starting the day in the red. So the low there is now 38, and you look at the chart on the 1 minute. I mean, the low of the last candle was 11.11. So if it comes down and bounces off 11, then there might be a dip trade, but that would be showing quite a bit more weakness than I'd really like. INO, I'm going to keep that one on another chart. Let's see, what else do we have? So I'm going to put VXRT down here, because right now it's starting to form this is like a V pattern, an inverted V, as it comes back down to 10. So I'll take a starter right there. I only filled 1,200 shares. I'm in at 11.08. I was trying to take a double bottom off the whole dollar. So I'm in 1,200 shares at 11.08. I want to see that it's going to hold 11. I'm going to watch here to add. Watching. I want to catch this bounce off of 11. I stopped out at 11, so I'm down now 272 on the stock, so 2 losses. The VWAP is down here at 1068, but this is such a nasty rejection. Bounce off VWAP is a valid setup, but bummer. This is kind of looking a little nasty. I'm going to watch it down here a little lower. There's no news. It's just rejecting and coming back down. So the low of that pullback there was 74. This is VXRT. $50,000 share buyer there at 90. So first candle to make a new high on the 1 minute is back over 11 there. So first 1 minute candle to make a new high there from 11.02 up to 11.09. Well, I'm going to look for something else here. 2 trades on it and red on both of them, so I'm not sure if I'm going to trade it anymore. All right, so MDCA, 140% gain. We talked about that. VXRT. Next one down is OPTT. It's up 60%. This is the same power buoy they've been talking about for years on OPTT. I don't know that this is that. I've seen this headline so many times about their power buoy. I have not a lot of interest in that. If it starts to open up over $1.50, maybe $2, but it's too cheap right now anyways. IBIO is selling off a little bit, back to the VWAP. CTXR is moving up a little higher. CTXR, 16 million share float, FDA response. I'm not super familiar with this stock, but you can see it's definitely moving up. So CTXR is a possibility. We'll see how it looks a little closer to the bell. The pre-market high right now is $1.86. EKSO had a nice continuation yesterday, and then even after hours up to 11. It is pulling back a little bit right now. However, yesterday's high was 876, so continuation is a break over 876. Now, if it comes down and bounces off 876, we could get a dip trade off of yesterday's high, and then a trade back up towards 950, 10, but we'll see. That one's a maybe. It's selling off a little bit too much pre-market. It's below the VWAP, so it's not a perfect setup at the moment, but I wouldn't write it off completely. I think there might still be some potential on it. IBIO, higher float. I'm not super interested in it. It's coming down a little bit. ASFI, a little further down the scan. Definitive agreement. So this looks kind of like it might be a buyout, but merger, yeah. So that one's not going to be something I would trade. ALT, The 15 million share float. So yeah, it's kind of looking nice, Dan. Good job, man. That's $3,400. It's a good start. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm loving this morning. VXRT, I've already got 2 trades on. I'm down $270. Not a big deal, but you know, I tried to get in here for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. I then tried to bounce off the VWAP, but I got a partial fill, so I didn't sell it when I was up, and then I got out for a small loss on that. An entry here could be over 19. First 5 minute candle to make a new high is over 19, but I don't know. It's kind of feels pretty choppy, so that would probably be better to be one to buy dips on and just be really kind of quick on the trades. But it is sort of irrational, so maybe over 15 and over 20 could give a little bit of a pop back up as short sellers cover. It obviously right now is not breaking the VWAP, so the VWAP is at 1070. Now, if it came down to VWAP, that would be a spot I'd be interested in a dip trade. So right now it seems like it's holding $11. Got to see whether or not it can hold that $11 spot. So I'm kind of watching VXRT maybe with a stop at 1099. Not in it yet. I'm watching. It's 1105 on the bid. I'll take a starter there at 10. So it seems like it's kind of holding this level. So what I want to catch is a pop over 20. And the first 5 minute candle to make a new high, and kind of a grind back up towards 1150. But stop has to be at 11, 5, 1099. So I want to see it break over 1120. See, there's 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 20. I stopped out. It looks like I made a couple cents a share. I'm down $22 on it, but so 1 small winner and 2 small losses. So that's telling us this one is choppy. So I don't know if I don't know what I'll do about it. We've got 12 minutes to the bell. Feels like, yeah, maybe it's the float. I don't know. INO yesterday was a little choppy, higher float. VXRT, it's got a lot of volume, but the setups that I'm looking at, first 5 minute candle to make a new high right there. It's a good setup. Only popped up by 2 cents. First 1 minute candle to make a new high right here. Good setup. Only popped up by 2 cents. So perhaps we have to kind of adjust expectations on doing those types of trades and instead really focus on dip trades on it. So what would be a possible dip trade? Well, double bottom at 1074. All right, so 1074, dip trade setup. So I could put an order down here and see what it does. So let's watch this area. It flashed down to 70 for a second. I didn't actually see it go that low, but the problem is it's a little hard to buy this setup after a false breakout on the 5 minute chart. It's a false breakout on the 5 minute chart. It flushes down. Again, a quick dip trade off of the VWAP. That looks like it flashed down to 68. I didn't even see it go that low. Maybe I looked away for a moment, but excuse me. Thank you. Pre-market is hardest when you don't have a lot of volume. Usually when you have a good amount of volume, pre-market can be okay, but and this has a lot of volume, 27 million shares. It's got a tremendous amount of volume, but perhaps so much so that it's actually choppy. So at this point, my game plan with 8 minutes to the bell, I'm going to watch VXRT. I'm going to see how it behaves. I'm going to look to see if I can get dip trades on it. I am not really expecting, and at this point, I should be really careful trying to buy breakouts because I've taken 3 and the breakout first candle to make a new high has not performed well. So I have to start with dip trades and then I could consider a breakout. So that's VXRT, EKSO. I had said, relatively it's still gapping up. Yesterday's high was 876 and it's 940 right now. So it is still looking pretty good in that sense, but on the 5 minute, it's a little on the weaker side. So I'm going to keep it on watch as a possibility. EKSO to see if I can get a trade on that, maybe up towards 10 or something like that. The last few days, some of the strongest setups have been the kind of 9:45, well, more like 10 to 10:30 break of VWAP setup. So if we see something that's starting to look like that, that might be what I get a little more aggressive on. So break of VWAP setup, and that's going to take for most of these stocks at least 30 minutes before it would be ready to go. All right, so we've got 3 minutes to the bell here. I'll give you guys a chance to refill your cup of coffee. I'm going to go grab a refill of my drink here, and we'll start trading as soon as the bell rings. VXRT, now this is kind of a scary moment here because it's actually breaking the VWAP. The low there is 64, the VWAP is at 71. So as I'm watching this VXRT, I'm wondering, so I'm taking a starter there on VXRT at 68 and 78, and I'm going to try to catch a bounce off the VWAP for a retest of 11. So I'm going to try to take the VWAP trade. We've got 80 on the ask. I think it's going to hold the VWAP. So this is a dip entry. Over 88 could be an add to try to get a break through 11. So right now I might kind of be in the driver's seat for a second on this. Let's see if we get that break of $11. So we've got 96, 97. Let's let it come back up for a second attempt, see if it pops through 11. I took my profit out at 95 and I have another order to add at 11 as soon as it breaks the whole dollar. Watching. Now 11, okay, there's a 50,000 share seller, and there it goes, nice, good job, okay. So that was a nice dip trade from 11 or 1070, 1068, 1070s up to 11, 25 cents. So I'm all out of that with $1,300 of profit. I'm not sure. I mean, again, I could have said, hey, I'm just going to hold the whole thing. The high there is 12. If it breaks over 12, that's a breakout setup. Now it's starting to curl over 21 would be more confirmation. There's 24, 25. So now this is going to be one of those times where I'm like, man, I sold too soon. However, you wouldn't blame me for selling too soon after I had 3 tiny winners on it, right? I had 3 tiny trades. 2 losses, 1 small winner. So when I finally got a 20-cent winner, I said, you know what? I'm taking my money off the table. And now, all of a sudden, that one candle, it's up to 50. How do I get back in? Now, if I got back in, I'd be buying a breakout. Breakouts are the 3 trades that I took that I lost on. So I can't take a breakout. I've got to wait for a pullback, wait for a dip trade. It's, when you start to get sort of behind the ball, you start to have to change your strategy a little bit. And it's tricky. So there's 55, 56. Man, That's almost $1 a share. My goodness. But it can come back down just as fast, so I've got to wait for a good quality setup. Pay yourself and be grateful for the profit. This is an amazing job, to be able to come in and sit down here and make $1,300 in 20 minutes. I've been sitting here for 25 minutes. Could always think, oh, I could have made more, but so the current high is 68. If I was aggressive, I would be adding over 68. I'm just going to watch it right now. I need to wait for a pullback. I don't have enough of a cushion to be super aggressive on it yet. I want to see whether it holds the $0.50 of 11.50. We also have only about 2.5 minutes to the bell. So we're getting really close to the opening bell. And I don't usually like to be holding from pre-market into the open because sometimes, it'll drop and then you're right at the open. And why does that happen? People have sell orders they put out yesterday and they execute as soon as the bell rings. I would say that's pretty unlikely, Allison, but I will ask our team to check that. Okay, so let's see. And hey, there's EKSO popping up a little bit as well. So EKSO popping up. Stock, so there's a headline there, reaffirming the rating, HC Wainwright. So, this type of thing, all of a sudden it can pop up. I'd like to see if it breaks over $10 on EKSO. That pop right there was on the news at 9:27. So I'd have the order at $10. Watching. So starter there at 10 on EKSO. You can see there's a buyer or a seller there. I want to see that seller come down. It's at $10. There's 18. Adding right there for the break of that seller. Looking for it to rip up over $10 up to $10.25. So the VWAP is at $10.25 on this one. VXRT, I'll be watching out of the gates for sure. EKSO, we want to see that break of 10. So these are the two that I'm going to be watching out of the gates. We've got about 30 seconds to the bell. Reminder to do your pre-trading checklist. Did you eat well? Did you sleep well? Do you have a couple stocks on watch that you like this morning? If you do, what's the condition of the overall market? The market's been pretty hot for small caps, but remember, don't blindly follow me or anyone else. You need to understand the strategy. All right, so I'm selling EKSO because I don't want to hold into the open, and I'll just reevaluate at the open. VXRT, I'm watching. VXRT, I need a pullback. The high on VXRT there is 1224. Took a starter on VXRT at 88. So bought that dip there for the pop back up over $12. So looking for this to break over 12. Watching. It's got to break 12. There we go. Sold at 12.11 for now. So I'm up, and so as you know, I stopped out of EKSO. So I've got $2,200 profit VXRT, and I'm down 380 on EKSO. The high on VXRT right now is 43. I'm going to put my order at the $0.50 for the next trade. It's got a big seller there. Looks like it's breaking that level. Let's look for the next pullback on VXRT. So I want to see nice pullbacks. The high right now is 65. The low of the last candle is right around the $0.50. There's 75. I'm going to put my order at 13 on VXRT. You have to be very careful chasing the stock as it's going higher. It's ripping, but you want to wait for a pullback because look at how fast it can potentially drop. So the high there is 91. So I'm taking a starter here at 88. I'm going to try to catch that break over 13. Off of 1250 is support. Watch here over 90 for the add and the break through 13. So watching 88.90. Stopped out. I'm going to do a dip trade. I'm going to watch to see how much it dips. This is one that I've got to be careful because I know it can dip hard. So that dip right there, I'm back in at 12.13, buying the dip. I want to try to catch this pop back up to 12.25. There's 12.17. And I put that on the ask at 12.21. All right, so our low is 11.90, and this has so much volume. It's difficult to read the level 2. It really is hard to read with this amount of volume. The first 1 minute candle to make a new high. The high is 88. The low of that last pullback flushed down to 11.90. It feels a little on the weaker side right now, but I might be wrong. The high of that last pop was 29. EKSO, I can keep an eye on it. So this is hard price action right here. It's just sort of squeezing out short sellers. It's not an obvious long, but if it breaks, so I'll take a long here just to try to ride this momentum through 13. Watch through 13. So I took my profit off at 13.17. I'm still holding 600 shares. The problem is it's not a good long setup, but it's the place where a short seller would cover. New orders over 13.50 for a squeeze up to 14. Watch a dip trade on this. Watching. Dip trade, bounce off 13. It's got to hold $13. Halt level is at 61. I'm holding right now 2,800 shares. I'm going to hold 700 shares into the halt. I'm going to sell it actually. I'm just going to take my profit off the table. I'll look to get back in. See, the problem is this just went from 12 to 13.61. It's such a big move that it's a little hard to trust. So this puts me up $5,000 right now. I'm doing a stream on YouTube and Facebook here. Last week, you guys, I did a free day for you, and you guys gave me 5,000 thumbs up. So if you do it again, I'll schedule another stream. So appreciate you guys hitting that thumbs up button. See if we can get 5,000 thumbs up. One for each dollar on VXRT. It's not a guarantee yet that today's going to be a green day. I mean, I'm up, but it's clearly, I've caught a little bit of chop on VXRT. I had one, let's see, I had 2 losses pre-market, and then I had 1 loss right here. So I've had 3 losses on it, and 1 winner pre-market, 1 winner out of the gates, a second winner. So I'm 3-3. So I'm only 50% accuracy on VXRT right now. But we do have 48 million shares of volume. It is clearly strong. It was halted going up at 13.61, and I'm going to put an order to buy a dip because it's so extended. So I really want to catch a dip on this. All right, so I'm going to change this to a 10-second chart down here, which we'll watch just as this resumes. I'll put the news in the middle. So that's, that's what our 10-second chart has looked like so far. So this is a spot where you just have to be a little careful as it goes into this level, because it's just so extended. So where did I add on the last trade? I added at 1275 for the break of 13, or somewhere around there, 1280, I don't know, for the break of 13. It squeezed through 13, and I took profit off 1317, 1318, and then sold the rest at 1361. This one has been a little hard though, because the level 2 is just ripping on it, and I like high volume, but this is like crazy high volume. It makes it hard to read the level 2. EKSO looking good, curling up. So we've got about 2 minutes to resumption on VXRT. Oops. There we go. High there was 950. So I'm down 380 on VXRT, 950 possible trade there for a squeeze up to 985. $10 is the ad spot. So watching here. I'm long at 61 on VXRT. I'm going to try to catch the squeeze up to, on EKSO. I'm going to try to catch the squeeze up to 977, 978. We'll see if we get to move a little higher. Orders at $10. Watch over 10. There we go. Nice. Halt level is 10.12. I'm all out. I'm going to take my profit on it, and I can always get back in. So I didn't trade that one with big size. So I'm covered my loss on it. I'm up 106 on that stock. So, and that's the thing with some of these stocks where if I'm red, I change my bias. It's just trying to kind of soften the blow. Once you've gotten knocked down a couple times, you got to be a little careful when you jump up. And so I was a little careful and cautious on that. All right, so it looks like VXRT is going to open around 1375 in about 10 seconds. I'm going to put my order down here. Hey, girl! Around 1350 to try to buy a dip. 2,000 shares. Watch for a dip. Long at 68. Just bought that dip. Want to get that rip through 14. Watch here. Add over 14. Still holding. Looking for that pop up over 14. This is a 1 minute pullback right under the whole dollar. Holding. Adding right there. 97. There we go. Nice trade. Sold the whole thing at 10.12. So nice there on that one. Up 8,000. New trade down here. Possible dip off of the $0.50 of 1350. The high of that candle was 1430. So I'm going to watch in this area. I want to see whether it holds 13. I mean, really, it should have held 14 on that break. But back over 14 is a possible trade. I'm going to hold off for a second and just see how it behaves. If I had still been holding from the pre-halt, watching, it actually would have probably been even better. But so this candle has 5 seconds left on it and is a red doji. We know red dojis are candles of indecision. So we've got a couple big green candles in a row. I expect this might break 1350 here. Right? First candle to go red. So I'm going to let it pull back, and then what I want to do is try to buy a dip. Watching. Bought that dip. Just bought that dip. Punch that buy button right there, and now I want to catch it popping back up. So I'm in at 1278. Now I want to see it pop back up over 13. Watching. Still holding. Looking to add on this dip. Added at 1250 right there. Now I want to try to catch the pop back up to 1275. There's 1270, 1268. Is it going to get over 1275? Watch here. Added at 64. I want to see 1275. This is a bounce off the VWAP essentially. So we want to see 75. We've got 68, 63. Flushing a little bit lower. Watching. 60 on the ask. There's 60, there's 70. I sold there at 71. So I don't know how much I really made on that trade, but whatever, it's fine. The high is now 13. So that was the dip I was looking for, but well, it was actually a little more dramatic than I was expecting. I mean, that dropped from 1380 to 1226. What a drop. I punched the buy button, and I don't know if I didn't get... So what happened? So I got filled at 1278 and 1250 and 1249. And then I sold at 1267. So yeah, that was kind of actually not a big winner because of my first ad at 78. So let's see, I'm up 8,200 on that stock right now. It's coming a little bit lower, so it's now broken the VWAP, it's selling off. So now, you know, the low of day is down at 1150. This is a pretty big rejection. The VWAP is actually at 1178. So I might watch bounce off the VWAP. Let's see if it breaks 12. Watching down here, starter long. I just bought at 89. Try to catch that pop back up over 12. Adding at 12. Selling at 1202, 1201. So a quick little trade on that. Halt level going down is at 1177. We don't want to be holding into a halt going down, but that's also right at the VWAP. So let's just watch this because that can be a strong spot. So watching the break of 1180, watching down here. This is kind of some aggressive stuff here. It's not my favorite price action. $61 million shares of volume. Halt level is now 65. EKSO just resumed from the halt. It's pulling back a little bit. 1050 is a spot to watch though. Let's let it pull back. I want to kind of see if it catches a bounce off of 10. Selling a little bit there. Starter long, 1022. I want to catch the break through 1050. And if it breaks 1050, watching for a squeeze up to 1075. Still holding. Looking for that pop over the $0.50 of 1050. Added right there at 1050. So there we go. There's 1055. Now I want to see 1060, 1070. We want to see 1075 because we want to see that squeeze up towards 11. So we've got 55. So this one is trading coming out of the halt. There's 75, taking profit off the table, adjusting the stop to 39. So stops at 39 now on EKSO. High is 74. The high a day or pre-market high is 1158. Sold the rest of EKSO at 39. So what we have here is a red a doji and then a red topping tail. So candle of indecision there. VXRT is technically a double bottom down here, so I'm going to take a starter long. I'm long VXRT. on the double bottom right here. So the double bottom was 1180. The high here of 27 is an add. I'm holding full size right now on VXRT. I'm not selling yet. I want to see if it's going to break over 50, and then I'm going to put the order at 1250 to add to see if we retest 13. Watching. Just added right there at 39 for the break over 1250. See, this one, we know when it squeezes, it can make big moves. So I want to try to catch that squeeze up over 1250 through 1275. So I'm going to give it a second here. I don't want to sell. I want to get that break through 1250. Watch here, 1230. There's 1233, 1245, 1236. I want to see that break through 1250. First little candle to make a new high is right there is 37. So I want to see it break 37, then 47. Watching. There's 37, there's 40. I want to see that rip through this level. It's got to open up a little bit more. There's 23 on the ask, 22. So I'm in at 16. Well, so I sold break even. You know, so that's kind of a bummer. I could have taken profit there in the 40s, and I didn't. I was thinking that that was going to break over the $0.50, but... So, you know, we were talking about this yesterday, stopping out break even. Well, you know, I'm now up over 10,000 on the day, so I've got a cushion on the day. So I guess I can afford to take a trade, hold it, give it a second to rip, and if it rips, then maybe I'll have a nice 30, 40 cent winner with 10,000 shares, another $3,000, $4,000. If I stop out break even, okay, I stop out break even. You don't get to the place where you have this ability to kind of let it ride until you first have your profit cushion. So it actually still looks bullish right now on the 1 minute, but the 5 minute is just not nice because of that big drop. So watching down here, back in at 75, buying this dip, and I want to catch the pop from 75 back up to 12. So there's 88. I want to see 90. So a big flash drop. 88, 95. I sold the whole thing all out at 97. So that puts me up over 9,000 on the stock now. Low was 59. So again, buying dips on this being a little easier, but the fact is at this point, we've got to be really careful because it's breaking the volume weighted average price. It just broke it right there. The low is 59. So now it's going even lower. So if I keep trading it in this area, I'm really trading the backside of the momentum. So I would really only want to do a trade if it does like really big flushes. CTXR is hitting the scanners. Let's look at that one. We knew this one had around $2 potential spot. So, you know, this one's a maybe, I don't know. Halt level's 207. The current high is $1.85. It's a little on the cheaper side. So a reminder, you know, as you guys can tell, the way I'm trading is I'm trading aggressive. I'm trading this momentum, buying off support, selling into breakouts, and it's fast. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to be able to keep up. So you don't want to blindly follow me, and you shouldn't blindly follow anyone else. You've got to understand the strategy. VXRT, maybe a dip here off of $11. I'm long VXRT at 13, starter. I'll add around a 1090. I want to try to catch a pop on this. So there's 26. I'm happy with that. So I took profit off at 20 something, and I'm going to put a new order around 11 to catch another drop. The low down here was 1106. I was in at 1113. Actually still have a partial 54 shares that didn't fill on that exit. So I'll just cancel that. The benefit of trading this one is that it's got a lot of volume, so I can get in and out. So if I can predict and, you know, I understand the right setup, even though it's not as bullish as I would like, it's at least still, you know, it's still relatively strong. So small profit there on that last one and holding tiny size because I didn't get a full exit on my last order. Sometimes partial fills will happen really can happen with any broker. So nice entry from 11.13, curling back up now, up over 50 cents from that entry. Again, I'm assuming that just the way it's giving long traders a hard time, it's also giving short sellers a hard time. The way it drops and then pops back up. So if I was short, where would my stop be? Well, it broke below VWAP. Now it's coming back above it. So if it holds and reclaims VWAP, I would probably let it break through and say, all right, well, let's just see whether or not, it actually holds this level. And if it holds the level, then on the first pullback, I would say, all right, I got to get out. So I'm going to, looks like, make another $50 on this 54 shares because I'm up almost $1 a share on it. So I'll put the order out there. Let's see. It's only 54 shares, but... So the high was 12, which is psychological resistance. This is a little pullback, as you can see here. I mean, it could be a buyer over 12. It's just, it's a little extended. Short interest, remember, is always, it's not real time. It's delayed. It's sometimes 14 days back. So the short interest from, 14 days ago might be very different from what it would be at this very moment. It's not in real time. So generally on this type of pattern, I would say if it can hold VWAP, then it looks good for a break of 12 and a squeeze up to 12.50. So just watch this for a second. First 1 minute candle to make a new high is over 91. So 91 could be an entry. Let's let it pull back for a second. So I'm going to take a starter there at 55. I'm buying that dip. And I'm going to try to catch a pop on this up through 1180. So I want to see over 1180, 75, 77. See if we get that squeeze up towards 12. New orders at $12 to add, but I want to see that first 1 minute candle make a new high. High of this current 1 minute candle is 88 with 10 seconds left. So 88 is the spot that we need to see break. Stop is definitely at 50, $0.50. So right now, I'm feeling a little iffy on it because it should have already broken the first high, but I'm giving it a second. And I'm going to sell there at 61 rather than risk having it go red. I can always do a dip trade if it breaks 50. But now it's back below the VWAP, right? So it's kind of straddling this level. It's getting above it and below it. So now is it going to come back down to 11? The low of the day is 1106. So I'm going to watch as it comes back down to 11 to buy off of support. So that's where I sit right now, 10,300 on VXRT as I watch it dip down towards 11. I see CTXR there at $1.85. high of the last 5-minute candle is 12. CTXR hitting $1.94. I'm going to put an order at 12 so it's ready to go on VXRT, but it's just so jumpy. I don't really know that it's going to be easy to trade at this spot, other than maybe it squeezes out some short sellers. So orders at 12.02. It's a double top right now, but it might break through that level. So you can see on the 10-second how it's a little pullback here. I'm going to take a starter long for the breakthrough 12. So I'm in at 91 and I want to add over 98 to get that rip through $12. Added right there at 98. I think this is going to rip, so I'm just going to give it a second. Orders at 12.02. Flush down. Buying the dip. Back in at 79. Adding. I'm going to look for it to pop back up to 95. So watch up here. Sometimes the first attempt doesn't go, and then the second attempt it'll break. So looking to add on this over 95. Holding, watching. Stopped out at 75. So maybe gave back a little bit on that trade. So you can see how it's a double top at 12. Buying into double tops can be risky, but they can also break, so, you know. The low is 1150. So I'll watch VXRT around 1150. We'll see if it holds support there. First 1 minute candle to make a new high is over 80. I'm not sure if that's really worth it. But I'll keep my order at 12, because if it does break 12, we'll probably see a squeeze up to at least 1225. Starter, long, adding there for a second attempt through 12. Are we going to get 1225? Watching, adding right there, 1215. I want to try to ride this momentum up over 1225. Add it again, 1215. See, now we're holding the whole dollar of 12. So I look at this as having potential to squeeze up to 1250 now that we're starting to curl. Right? See on that 5 minute how we're starting to turn around? So this is where it can start to look good. Oh man, so dip down. I'm going to add at 90. Try to buy that dip and catch a pop back up. I still think that it looks good if it can hold these levels, but let's see what it does. This one's just so choppy. It looked good to me. I thought it was going to rip through the highs, or at least rip through 1225, 1250. Stopped out. So cut the loss. So now I'm up only 6,900 on the stock. So it was a good size loss on that one, 3,000 bucks. Lost basically 30 cents with 11,000 shares. Had a nice break of 12, added, was looking for more, flushed back down. It'd be nice if there was something a little easier to trade, but something not quite so choppy, but I don't see anything else right now. So I would say in some ways you've got the red candle there, the bear flag pull, a couple candles up, and then bear flag resolution would be a sell-off back to the lows. 1106 is the low of the day. So I'll put an order 1115 because at this point I would kind of expect a break of 1150 and then a move a bit lower, but we'll see. So let's watch this down here. I don't want to buy the dip yet. The low this last pullback was 29. This is the bear flag starting to resolve to the downside, so I want to let it really sell off, give a good flush. And, no reason, don't need to overtrade. $80, $200 is still good. It's not 11,000, but it's still a good day. So let's see what it does down here. EKSO is selling off here. The low was 80. So I'm going to take a starter of EKSO for a double bottom. Double bottom there is at 80. So now I want to catch this pop back up through 9. Watch over 95 to add. Adding long on EKSO, and I want to catch this pop back up towards 925. So this is a double bottom setup. It's a pretty good setup because we had that low previously. We came down, we flushed down to it. So now over 9, we want to catch that pop up to 915. So watch EKSO here, 95, 96, 97. We want that first 1 minute candle to make a new high. There's 9 on the ask. So I want to see it rip through that level and then up to 915, 920. Watch here, hands on the buy button. Let's see if we get that quick break. So we got a pop. I stopped out at 95. It wasn't as big of a pop as I was hoping for. I'm going to put a new order maybe at 75. Let it sell off a little bit more. It should have broken. Usually when I take a dip trade like that, I expect a bit of a stronger pop. So I'm seeing this as a double bottom, but I guess if I stretch this out, I could see that pre-market triple bottom.